Well, I made a horse word search book on Amazon KDP, uh, and today I'm gonna go over what I got wrong. I'm also gonna talk to you about how to how I went about making um, word search books. This is part three in my Amazon KDP journey. I have two other videos on it. This is the first word search book that I did on horses. Now, don't get me wrong when I say this, but when I look back, I cringe a little when I look at it. I'm proud of it. It's my first book, and I'm glad I did it. But I see the flaws and what I did wrong, and have tried to improve on that ever since that. I'm very glad that I made it, but I do see the mistakes. So to kind of go back a little bit to recap, the first episode that I did, I sort of talked to you about why I went into that at age 67, and at the same time went into YouTube. And then number two was explaining in plain English what Amazon KDP is. It may sound intimidating to some people at first, but it's really not. So in this episode, like I said, I'm going to explain to you a little bit about how to and what I did wrong. So why did I choose horses? Well, the reason is the tutorial that I was watching, that's what he was doing. So I figured, well, that's going to make it really easy for me, and I can learn and grow from this. So that's what I did. I just followed step by step, and I'm going to explain to you and tell you in a little bit, the tutorial and how you could follow it too. So, also, I really love horses. I think they're great, and I figured there's got to be a lot of horse lovers. I know a lot of horse lovers, so there's got to be people out there who would be interested in this, and I figured that was probably part of the reason he was showing that in the tutorial, because it's a good niche. So that's the other part of it is picking your niche, finding an area where people will be interested in that type of, to just do a generic word search. You can do it, but it seems like the way to go is to find a particular niche, whether it's on a particular subject like summertime or animals, whatever it might be. Just pick a niche. Now, how do you do that? Well, there's two things that I have used. Number one is Book Bolt, where I'm just going to say it helps you make the book. I'll put a link down below in the description so you can take a look at that if you're interested. And then the other is a gentleman on YouTube named Greg Gottfried, and I'll put a link to him down below also. And you can follow his tutorials on making books, and he talks about other things too, but a great portion of his videos are on making Amazon KDP books and how to make the covers and the puzzles and whatever it might be. So those are two links that I'm going to put in there. Book Bolt, it has a layout for your puzzles. It's so easy. I'm so glad something like this exists, because I wouldn't know what to do otherwise. And then, through the tutorials and the book together, I learned how to put everything together. And now I just go in there and I wouldn't say whiz through it, because you still have to do some thinking, and what are you going to do with your cover, and your niche, what's the niche, and so on. But in Greg's videos, he has a link down below where you can go in, and he built a special AI word search. So you go in there and you tell it what niche you want, and then how many words per puzzle, and then how many puzzles, and it'll start to come up with this list. But I encourage you to watch his video first, and that will give you a lot of guidance on how to do that. I just feel that he's very experienced at it, and I think you'll be very comfortable with watching him, and you'll learn a lot if you choose to do this. Now, to sort of get to the part where I cringed a little bit was the cover. I feel, as I look at it now, it's a little generic. I don't think it really is eye-popping, because when people are on Amazon searching for a book, they get this little picture. Of course, they can click things on and everything, but as they're scrolling through, they're looking at these different word searches, and in this case, maybe through horse word searches, and I think it needs to catch your eye. I still have sold, a pretty decent amount of copies, I feel, at least for a first book. I do it differently now. There's a little more involved, I guess you could say, with how I put the cover together and what I put on the cover, and a lot more planning and thinking goes into it than before. With this, I was kind of just going step by step. His cover of horses was better than mine. But I did, what I could with what I had. So now, as far as publishing goes, I was really excited and very happy about it, but you still have these doubts as they creep in. Is this going to be something that nobody's interested in whatsoever, and it never sells a copy? It's on there for 10 years or whatever, and it never sells a copy. All kinds of different questions that you ask yourself before you hit that publish button. But you go through all these different things with uploading the book, uploading the cover, and then eventually you end up with pricing, which is also in Greg's videos, which I encourage you to watch. And I thought, gosh, am I going to just really screw this all up? But then I thought, you know what? I'm 67, and I've done a lot worse on a lot of other things. So, it was okay. And it's turned out just fine. And I've done, I think 14 books since then or so. And by the way, I list my books in the description below. So if you have any interest, anytime you want to take a look at them, feel free to do so. So the takeaways from this video, I think, are: number one, pick a niche. Again, whether it's animals or United States, whatever topic And Book Bolt and Greg Gottfried will help you to understand, which niche you want to pick. Number 2 is that the cover matters. It really, really matters. It's what catches their eye first, So first impressions, we always talk about that. 3, done beats perfection. I was done. I was ready. And so I hit the publish button. So with the first one in particular, I just thought, let's get this done and get it published out there and see what happens. So that's another piece of advice I'd give. And number 4 is just doing it teaches you a lot. That's one of the things this channel is about, of course, is learning. Old, retired, but still learning. So if you all like the content of this video, the videos that I make, please click the like button and subscribe. And I'll have episode 4 before too long of my KDP journey. Thank you for watching. Bye.